Hi, Year 4. Happy Friday. Hope you're all okay and ready for our final lesson of the week. And then you can have a lovely, relaxing weekend. So I have got our music lesson for today, and it's to be watched either before or after the Great Assembly. So if you're watching it before the Great Assembly, I hope you enjoy. And if you're watching it after the Great Assembly, then I hope you had a great time. It's always lovely to see all of your faces on the Great Assemblies. So I'll let you into a secret. I have already recorded this video, but I played some music within it, which was blocked. So this is the second time I'm recording it. So I will post the videos that I'd like you to watch in the description box so that this video doesn't get blocked and you can still see me. So we are looking at developing our understanding of Baroque music by looking a little more deeply at it and beginning to compare it to another genre that we look at in Year 4. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we are going to know that a chord is made up of two or more notes that sound good together. By deepening our thinking, we've already got an idea of Baroque, but we're going to deepen it so that we can actually compare and contrast the genres of Baroque and Motown. So that's the other one that we look at in Year 4. And you will need your purple box set books for this. This is what we would put in our books in school. So, first of all, I want us to rewind. You don't need to write this anywhere, just need to have a think and maybe tell somebody around you. What do we know about Baroque? Oh, I've done it again. Sorry, guys. I left the answer down. I'd like to try and have a go now, thinking about what Baroque music is and what we know about it from last week, if you haven't already seen. If you have, then you can use that to help you with your answer. Okay, so we know, big reveal here, we know that music composed during the Baroque era, which was about 1600 to 1750, so music composed in this era can be described as elaborate and dramatic. Okay, I know last time I described it as being music that tries to, with it being elaborate, maybe sort of show off a little because it's great, dramatic and elaborate music. So you can hear decorative trills within a piece. You can hear it a few times actually, not just once, and it's just where two notes are played quickly one after the other. So it's adding in just extra fancy bits to really ensure that it is elaborate and dramatic. Okay. So we're now going to look at Motown, which is another kind of music, and it's from a completely different era because it's something that's come about recently. Okay, so it's happened in the last 100 years or so. So it's a lot more recent, and it has a slightly different sound to it. So its name comes from a record label or a company called Motown that introduced all of these sounds, and they're all very similar. So therefore the genre was created, all of these similar sounds through the record label Motown. So it's now become a genre as well. So I have a link here that I'm not going to play for you because I don't want to get this video blocked. But what I'll do is I'll post, there are 3 videos I'd like you to watch. I'll post all 3 in the comment, in the description box, and I'd like you to watch them when I tell you to. So can you watch the first YouTube clip for me and have a little listen and think about what kind of music this Motown genre is. Okay, so I'd like you to do that for me, clicking on that first link. Okay, so you should have heard that there were some lyrics such as "Stop in the name of love before you break my heart." Okay, so the music itself was a little more upbeat than Baroque music, not as dramatic, not whereas Baroque music is something that you potentially could hear in a drama TV program in the background, whereas Motown, it does not have that deep, dramatic kind of sense. It does, however, focus on a couple of different moods. So "Stop in the Name of Love," that's all about the love. So that's one of the moods that Motown sort of has, and that mood is love. And then "Before You Break My Heart" is talking about a potential loss there, or a potential heartbreak. So you've got love, but you've also got a bit of heartbreak and a bit of loss. So often Motown music are songs that are relating to or reflecting on or be just generally being about love and loss. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I'm going to show you a box set book in a second, and I would like you to begin to compare Motown and Baroque. So we're going to end up with some differences that the two genres have. So we're comparing them. So let me get my box for you and stop sharing this screen. Okay then guys, so we are going to write today's date, which is Friday the 29th of January. This is how I would like it in your books. Focusing on that spelling of January, because I know when I type January, I end up typing it wrong. I think my fingers go too fast. And then I'm going to write music, and we are going to be comparing Motown and Baroque. And I'm giving both of them capital letters because they are the name of a genre of music. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to underline these both with a ruler, which I have got just over here or attached. There we go. And I'm going to underline both with my ruler. And then I'm going to write Baroque on one side. Then I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to draw my line as halfway as I think I can. As close to halfway as I can. And then on the same line on the other side, I'm going to write Motown. Again, giving them capital letters. And then I'm going to underline it to create a small table. So I'm going to sort of bullet point these. And so first of all, I'm going to write the kind of feeling and the mood given by Baroque. In fact, I might even write mood in the margin, so I know that that's what this bullet point refers to. So the mood of Baroque is dramatic and elaborate. I'm writing these on separate lines, that's fine. Elaborate. And these are just general notes for the comparison. And then also I'm going to note that it often will have decorative trills, which link to it being elaborate. And then on the other side, I'm going to make a note of the fact that Motown is often about love and also about loss. Okay, and then I will leave a line after the however far down I am. So this is the longest, the furthest down. So I'm going to leave a line and then I'm going to start my next one there. Okay, and I will share my screen with you again so that we can see what we are going to be comparing next. So to rewind, Baroque is often dramatic and elaborate with decorative trills, and Motown is about love and loss. And I'm also going to add time as my next one. And for Baroque, I know it's 1600 to 1750, and then for Motown, I'm just going to put in the sort of last 100 years because it is a lot more recent. Okay, I know you can't see that, but I've talked through what it is, so you should be able to have a go at writing that down as well. So I've got mood and I've got time. And we are going to go on to the next slide, which talks a little about chords. Now, before I talk about chords, I was going to, up here, play two videos and ask you to identify which one of those two is Baroque and which one of those two is Motown. Now, when I played them myself, you couldn't see the YouTube clips that came up. However, clicking on them yourself, you will be able to see it. One of them is called Baroque sounds or the best music of Baroque, and the other one is like Motown hits or something. So you will be able to tell, but to challenge yourself, it would be really good if you could load them up or ask somebody else to load them up so that you can't see. Okay, so you might click on it and then look away, or you might ask someone to load it up for you, because it was you using your knowledge of Baroque and Motown to identify the different ones. Okay, so they'll be in the description box, and I'd like to do that first for me. And then the next thing that we're going to do is compare the different chords used in Baroque and the chords used in Motown. However, sorry, I was just checking that it was still recording then. I thought I'd forgotten to press play. Ooh. Anyway, first of all, we need to know what a chord is before we can compare the ones in our genres. So the word chord comes from an ancient word meaning harmonious sound. And if something is in harmony, it means that it's working well together and it sounds good together. So if two people were doing something in harmony, they were doing it really well together. So it includes more than one sound, and it's a sound that works together to make a really nice sound, something that works well together, not two notes that sound awful together, two notes that sound good together. So a chord is two sounds or notes that are played at the same time. So you might choose to pause and write this definition. In fact, we are going to pause and write this definition. I'm just deciding where, because I haven't left room for it. So we are going to write that definition at the bottom of our page, because we will not need the whole page for our comparison. We are comparing them, but we're not comparing that much about them. So I am going to do it at the bottom of my table. I think that'll be plenty of room. So just leave yourself a fair amount of room, and we are going to write the definition of a chord. Okay, so chords, I've put two notes or sounds. It's really hard to write around this visualizer base. It's got a really chunky base and I can't write around it. Two notes or sounds played together. That doesn't make sense, Miss Nick. Not played together. Two notes or sounds that sound good together. I might in brackets put harmonious, because that is two sounds that sound good together are harmonious then. So two notes or chords. Can I make that any clearer for you? There we go. Two notes or chords that sound good together. That are played at the same time. There we go. So that is what I'd like you to write at the bottom. So this will probably be our blog in school. But this is what I want you to write at the bottom for me, because our what was to look at chords, so we need to know what they are. So that's the first thing I'd like you to do. And then now we are going to compare, and get this thing under my control. We are then going to compare the chords in Baroque and Motown. Let's see if it falls. It's going to fall forwards. Might make you all motion sick here, sorry guys. Okay, so we are on the side here, I've written chords because that is the next thing that we are going to compare. So if I share my screen with you again. Okay, so now that we know what a chord is, we are going to look at how chords are used in Baroque music and in Motown music. So this is a small comparison of them, and I'm just going to talk through it. So Baroque music uses chords being played by different sections of the orchestra. So it's not necessarily just different notes. This is more sort of a different sound. So this is where, for example, the woodwind section and the brass section of the orchestra might play a similar note or the same note, but because they are different sections of the orchestra, they make a slightly different sound, which creates a lovely harmony. So that helps the piece to sound complete, because that's what Baroque music is about. It's about sounding complete and sounding like a full piece of music. So they are the two things that I'm going to note down next to chords for Baroque. I'm going to note that they use that chords are played by different sections of the orchestra. And then also a second bullet point, I'm not actually writing it, you guys can write it, it's your turn. But the second bullet point would then be that it sounds complete. And then on the other side, Motown often uses a repeated pattern of 4 chords. So they have 4 chords, and then they do those same 4 chords over and over again. So once they've gone through all 4 sounds or all 4 chords, they then start again. So that helps with the repetitive sound to the music. Modern music, including Motown, often has quite a repetitive style. So for example, if you think about a song that we might hear on the radio, often they have a chorus that is repeated a couple of times throughout the song. And so that pattern of sounds is repeated. And that's the same for Motown's chords. So I'll be making a note here that 4 chords are repeated in Motown. And I would also be making a note that where Baroque has just instruments and sections of the orchestra, Motown actually uses voices as well as instruments. So that's something more that Motown has. So they use voices such as backing singers to layer up their music. They don't just have the instruments and a singer, they have backing singers in there as well, so that the backing singer and the instruments can create a harmony in the background, which adds an extra layer to Motown music. Whereas Baroque only uses instruments. There are no voices in Baroque usually, but they layer up the sounds in a different way because they layer up the different instruments and different sections of the orchestra. Because if we rewind to a couple of weeks ago, we noticed that one piece of music played on different instruments creates a different sound. So Baroque layers up music. In fact, we might even make a note of that. So I might put layers or layering, and I might make a note that it's layered up with instruments and different orchestra sections for Baroque. And then for Motown, that the layers are backing singers, and instruments as well. Okay, so that I believe is the end of the lesson. So well done, year 4. I'm really enjoying teaching music in this way. It's something that we don't normally, I don't think, have as much of a focus on. So I'm really enjoying this, and I hope that you are too, because it's allowing us to really delve deeply into the genres that we look at in year 4. So have a wonderful weekend. You more than deserve it. Do lots of fun things. Let us know what you get up to, and I will see you on Monday ready for a brand new week. See you very soon, guys.